debutantes and founder girls. They seem like so they were both really good, but they seem like they come from like personal like stories. So is this like, were you just inspired by it, or are these a part of your personal journeys?
I think for me as a storyteller, every story that I tell has some kind of it's some kind of meditation on something in my life, and a method for like processing something in my life, even if there's no direct correlation between like an actual experience I had and the story that I'm telling. But I think both of the stories are about Black girlhood, and that is a space that I really enjoy telling stories in. And I think for Founder Girls in particular, it was really about being able to capture Black girlhood in a space of freedom and joy, and an environment that was created by a Black woman for Black women and girls, to be able to be in community with one another and to celebrate one another and give each other, to uplift each other. And so I think that was very healing for me to be able to tell the Founder Girl story, and be in that space and just like be in like the camp vibes with the girls. We actually stayed on campus, like in the camp, in the cabins. We were an all-female crew so that we could do that. And yeah, it was an incredible experience, and was like very healing for my inner child, my younger self.
So did you ever do like summer camp?
I never did a sleepaway camp. I did church camp. And so when I learned that this camp, Founder Girls, was originally founded in a church before Maddie Landry, the founder, was able to raise the money and purchase the land that then they went out to for their summer camp sessions. It was a year-round, program where they were meeting after school in the camps in San Antonio, in the churches in San Antonio, Texas. And I think really like highlighting that connection between like these beacons of like the Black community starting way back then when the camp was founded in 1924, and still to today, with the way that they kind of made the camp very specific about Black girls and Black girl experiences, even as they're doing things like ropes course and horseback riding, and just regular, everyday kind of outdoor activities that they have like the programming built in where they're reflecting the whole way through about, Black girls' experiences of certain things and how they can like build them up and lift them up. So no, I didn't quite have all of that in church camps to answer that question.
It's so cool. Like I really enjoyed it because I went to dance camp. Like I never went to any like summer camps. I always danced in the summer. So it was really cool to see because I appreciated that it wasn't just the activities, but it was a conversation. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the girls saying like, oh, like, where I'm from, this, I never am able to experience this. And so, I felt like it was so important. So my question, because this was a part of the Queen Collective, was that something you already shot or pitched prior, or was it something that you did after getting in the program?
So the way that this film came about was that I was already developing it, and I was talking to the camp, and I knew that the upcoming camp session was coming up that summer. We had started talking earlier, actually the year before, and I didn't know where it was going to go or who was going to fund it, but I knew that I really wanted to make it. And then just a few months later, I was invited to submit to be a part of the Queen Collective if I had any, projects in the works. And I did, and I ended up being invited to be a part of the Queen Collective that year. And so we went from, we don't know if this is going to get made, but we all really want it to get made, to like having our full funding and having our production support, and knowing that it was going to go to premiere at Tribeca Film Festival and then to broadcast on BET. So it was like really exciting just to have all of that already built in, and to just be able to focus on the storytelling and not have to focus on like, how to raise the money and where is it going to go and all of this stuff. So it was a pretty great opportunity and like well timed, so that we were able to just like hit the ground running and film that week of camp. and edit, and yeah, it was pretty great.
So outside of like being not having to worry about certain things that you would have had you not been a part of this,
Mhm.
what was the mentorship like in doing this and having the mentorship?
Well, we had access to some of the previous filmmakers in the Queen Collective, which was really cool because it was more horizontal networking and horizontal mentorship and peer mentorship. In addition to the previous Queen Collective cohorts and folks that we met through that, I think our own group of filmmakers was like an incredible support, and we were all like each other's cheerleaders and just sharing information and resources and crew and all this kind of stuff back and forth, and have really like stayed in touch. And now those are folks that are, you know, collaborators and future collaborators, and just supporters of each other's work. And yeah, I think also having access to Queen Latifah, to her executive producer, Laritha, it was just like a really cool experience to be able to make a story about Black girls and Black women, and be in a cohort of Black women and non-binary filmmakers, and also have the mentorship and the support of Black women. It's not common, you know, like sometimes you're in these programs and the folks that are running it don't look like you.
Yeah, it's funny that you also said that, especially with this project, because you were doing it at a girls' camp.
Mm-hmm.
Your crew
Yeah.
were women, so I thought that that was really good because I was having a conversation about the importance of not just, you know, the talent in front, but the opportunities behind the scenes. So, is this something that?
Well,
Huh?
I was just gonna say we were already planning to do like an all women of color crew.
Oh,
And
okay.
once we learned that, you know, it would be a requirement in order for us to stay at the camp, then we're like, okay, well, we're already doing that anyway. And I
Right.
say that because like it is like so much, you know, what you're bringing up, that for us to tell the story authentically, for folks to feel comfortable with us, and for us to not like be, you know, sticking out like a sore thumb as we're trying to like blend in and just like capture the moments, especially with like a verite film like Founder Girls, where it's all about like, you know, letting the moments happen, and, you know, hoping that folks aren't too conscious of the camera.
It probably
That
seems more natural when it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. um but I think across all my films, you know, hiring people of color and women of color um is always the goal, as much as possible, for sure.
And now, did you get any like specific advice from Queen Latifah when being a part of this project that you would like to share?
Yeah, I remember on our first orientation day, which was the first time we met her and we all met each other, the cohort, and the folks that we would be working with. She said, this is not a direct quote, it's paraphrased. She said to trust your vision and stay true to your vision. So throughout the process, to make sure that figure out what film you want to make, and make sure you're saying it and doing it the way that you want to do it. Not trying to figure out like, well, what might this person want it to be, or that person want it to be, or like, you know, what story you want to tell and how you want to tell it. So just trust your vision and do it.
Now, it's interesting you say that because were there any like challenges that may have challenged your vision? Like, how did you remain on course with doing this documentary?
With anything that might like fall into the branded content kind of world, you know, we're funded by Procter and Gamble. I think maybe it was like a self-imposed, I'm not sure if this needs to look a certain way for it to be considered
Mm.
right for like this funder, but not that that came necessarily from them, but maybe I had an idea in my head about like what a kind of like branded content thing would look like. But I'm a verite filmmaker, like that has been a lot of my work.
Mhm.
And I knew that I really wanted it to just feel like an immersive experience, like you were at the camp with the girls. So we really besides our interview with Miss Gaynor, who's one of the original campers from the 1950s, who comes to speak to the girls every year at camp. She's the only on-camera interview in the film, and everyone else is just captured through the verite. And then we have some voice interviews that are kind of woven throughout the film, and you don't know what voice belongs to which camper, because it's meant to really evoke this like feeling of like, well, this could be my experience, this could be any of our experiences, and not focus on like a main character going through the camp process, but like really do this like kaleidoscopic kind of multi-character cast. And that's how I wanted to tell it. And so I just had to remind myself that like that's that's the vision, and that's what we're doing, and not do like some traditional things like sit down interviews and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I really like the whole like the voiceovers as you were seeing them doing other things and talking, because it really, I'm past that age. And I remember some of the things the girls were saying, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember like about the hair. 'Cause I had locks my whole life. So I grew up very different. Locks weren't as popular as they are now. And so I remember a lot of the things, and I was like, it was such a safe space, but it wasn't the story of like one person's safe space, but it was just like all of their safe spaces. And I
Yeah.
thought that was like really, really cool. What are you hoping with this film that it does for societal changes, future filmmakers when telling our stories?
Well, I love the reflection that you just gave, because I had the same feeling being there making the film, which is that, this is a camp for Black girls, but like here we are as women who are well past the age of the campers, and, reflecting on our own childhood experiences and our own relationship to our Blackness and our gender. And I think that that's what I hoped the film would do for Black women in particular, and for Black girls. But for us to be able to see ourselves represented in a way that is, I think, few and far between. I think when our stories are told, they tend to fall on either end of extreme spectrum,
Mhm.
where it's either about our traumas or about like our supreme excellence, and we accomplish this amazing thing, and that's why our story is worthy of being told. And there is some of that in Camp Founder Girls. Like this founder
I mean,
definitely
it's just
like
the
overcame
whole,
odds to like finally,
yeah,
found the camp in 1924, get property as a Black woman in the segregated South. But it really is more focused on like just like the little details and like the daily stuff of just girls being girls. There doesn't
right.
have to be anything like extraordinary happening for us to have our stories told, or to have our stories be worthy of being told. And I think that's the message that I want to come through in the film, that like we're worthy of celebration, we're worthy of safe spaces, we're worthy of community, and all of these things are important for us to be able to cultivate and maintain like within our communities.
Are you hoping that there are more stories told like this, fiction and nonfiction? Because
Yeah,
you're right. Like, I agree. I felt like the backdrop was the fact that it was a Black woman who started this, because there were no options for other people, but she did it in the early 1920s.
right,
So it's like the backdrop is extraordinary within itself, but
right.
telling the story in present day in itself is celebratory.
Exactly. And I do hope more of films about the Black experience that kind of fall in the middle of the either end of the extremes, of the spectrum get made, because, our white counterparts have all kinds of boyhood and girlhood stories that are about just like literally
Nothing.
nothing. Like,
Yeah.
we just go about our day to day, and like, yeah, it's good storytelling. Like we deserve to have that too. I
Yeah.
think that the more diversity we have in the types of stories that we're telling, like we do also need the stories about everything that we have to overcome and the hardships and the traumas and stuff. We also need the stories about our excellence. But if we're ignoring what's in the middle, we're ignoring like the majority of our experiences. And I think the more diversity we have representing us, the better, because we contain multitudes.
Yeah. And they should all be celebrated.
Yeah.
Now, now, how important is an initiative like the Queen's Collective for filmmakers, for the film industry as a whole?
Well, like I said, I was developing this project
Mm.
and I didn't know how I was going to make it. And I think if I had to go some other route, it may have taken a couple of years to like, I might have missed that camp season and the film may not
Mm.
exist yet. I do think I would be able to do it, but like the way that it was just like, boom, here's your money, here's your like go, was unique. And I think that it's really important that the Queen Collective not only, has the funding, has the mentorship, the peer, cohort, but that they also like follow up with us. And it's been my experience that they're invested in making sure that we have career sustainability and that it's not just the project that we made with the Queen Collective, but like how else can we support? What other opportunities can we put in front of you or recommend you for? And I think for Black women, it's extremely important because we're quite underrepresented in the industry, and the pathway, the like pipeline programs are important. They're really important in this. Yeah, it's just the reality of like what the industry is, and I think putting your money where your mouth is. These folks could talk a big game about their DEI initiatives or whatever, but if they're not actually supporting and concerned with like our career sustainability and longevity, not just like here's the one project that makes us look good, and they don't really count.
That's interesting. I didn't realize how involved they were, like when you're in the program and even post. So you say that they stick with you, like catch up with you, help you out in the future as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it too is like your own relationships and how you decide to take this experience and make sure that it's one that lasts throughout your career, not just for one film. So but I think we all understood like we can build relationships, and these are career long and lifelong relationships.
Right. Okay, now last question. Being that you did this entire program, you've done a lot of projects, you tell the Black experience. What advice do you have for filmmakers that look like you, or filmmakers that want to, travel the same route with the nonfiction and documentaries and things like that?
I think having community is really important, whether that's to just be able to like bounce ideas off of, or like have your ideas validated or encouraged by a peer group that looks like you and comes from the same place as you, and understands why you want to tell your story, or how you want to tell the story. And also for jobs, honestly, like a lot of this is about our sustainability, and while we're developing projects that we're directing and maybe not getting paid for development, we need to make money in other ways. So like we're hiring each other as DPs, hiring each other as producers, like if you have more than one, skill, and having that community of folks that are going to call on you and you can call on them when you're crewing up is really important. And those are your collaborators. And so I think having like transitioned from corporate media into independent filmmaking, the first thing I did, and the thing that I think has been consistent, has been like finding the community and building it, growing it. And I guess I'll steal Queen Latifah's advice to me for my advice, which is, like, know what your vision is for what the story you want to tell, and stick to it, and know that the way you want to tell it is worthy, even if you have other folks telling you like this is how you tell it. Because a lot of people that don't look like us want to tell us how to tell our stories, and it can be hard to stick to your vision and stick to how your own voice. So find your voice and speak it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time. sharing everything. And yeah, I love both of your projects. So I'm excited for more people to see it.
I have a third too, actually. I had another film that premiered earlier this year at South by Southwest called
What
Songs.
oh, I have to, is it out like on a platform?
No, so only Founder Girls is, which is on BET.
Yeah.
For Songs from the Hole, we're on the festival circuit. We premiered at South by Southwest this year. We won the audience award for our category. And then, yeah, the debutantes premiered at Tribeca. So I had 2 feature films premiere this year.
Well, congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
because
on
I
the
know it's not
festival
easy.
circuit with both of them.
You said what happened?
We're on the festival circuit with both of those 2 features.
Oh, okay. Are you hoping they will? How much
So
longer? Yeah.
TBD. The sales stations are underway, so hopefully they'll be
Okay.
widely accessible soon. But in the until then, we're doing festivals and impact and engagement campaign.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for taking the time to speak with me.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.